Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Light Base 500 LX. Now there are going to be a few iterations of this that you are going to be able to get, and you are going to be able to get them with and without RGB as well, which should please those of you out there that just want a simplistic build. But for the LX version, which I have here today, it does come with four 120mm Pure Wings fans. And it comes in at a price of, and I'm reading off of a spec sheet just so that I get the price exactly right, because I keep saying it wrong, it's $154.90. I've been saying $154.99. Now the $154.90 is in USD and in euros. I'm going to assume it's going to come in roughly at the same price in GBP, but I have not been sent a GBP price yet, so we don't know whether it's going to come in exactly the same or maybe marginally below, depending on the exchange rate at the time. But we do need to have a good look around it. I have put a tasty Asus BTF build in it, kept it all white and nice and lovely, just so that it's more aesthetically pleasing in the video. But we will need to get busy and give it a good looking over. Okay, so we will start with the roof. If we go right round the back, we can pull the roof panel off, and you can see that we do just have a perforated panel in the top. Now we have mounts up here which are offset, which is lovely to see, and you can fit up to a 360mm radiator in the roof, and like I've said, where it is offset, it sits it further away from the motherboard. Simple thing, but still lovely to see. Now if you remove this screw, you can remove the three fans down the side in a holder completely on their own, but when you do undo this screw, this panel is actually quite tight in there, so you think it's got another screw in it, or I did. I genuinely thought there was another screw hidden somewhere. There isn't. You just need to give it a tug. Now, yes, that is what she said, but I just wanted to be to show you, because even I did end up getting a screwdriver in there to lever it so that I could break it free, and it is it is very tight, and I'm sure there will be those of you out there that will love the double entendres and the innuendo bingo today. Now what we can do when we look at the front here, and that's because I never do things in a professional way, we'll go straight into the front panel. The meshing stays in that panel that I said to you about that removes out, so if you do want to clean, you either need to get your bristle on your hoover in there to clean that dust filter, or you'll need to remove it out the top. The I/O is here on this floating panel, and we're going to end up covering the rear panel at the wrong time, but it's the only way for us to do it today. Anyway, there is a button here for you to be able to change the lights through the controller, and there are many of them, and you can also get to the point that it will mimic the motherboard as well if you want to go all the way through. But there are those options, so you can have it do both, or you can do it manually, and I have to press and hold it now, so that, because you press and hold for it to go on to, there we go. So now we're back on the controller, and we can go through all the manual, and you don't need to have it connected to your motherboard, but I do have mine connected, but my motherboard is set to white, so I'm just going to do it quickly again just to show you. You'll see it flashes orange, Bosch, white. That's now in motherboard mimic mode, which is lovely. Reset switch, power switch, and there is also USB type C and two type A's, and when the power is on, it picks up a little bit of lighting from the back. But one of the things I did want to show you is this front section is completely kind of hovering, but it bothers me a little bit, if I'm honest, because when you put the side panel on, it covers up this section, and I genuinely don't think this section of this panel needed to be here. I think it could have all been open. I think it would have been much nicer. There are many ways that we could have done it, but I think the easiest and cheapest would have been for that just to have been stamped out, and then when we fit the panel it is just an open section, and I do think they've kind of missed a bit of a trick there, because adding in the meshing does nothing but slow down airflow. Now I'm going to move on to the rest of the review, and we'll come back to the back panel and cover everything behind there in a minute. Something else that is accessible from the front, which is quite different to normal, because they normally always pull out the back, is the lower dust filter for the internal chamber. So used to those pulling out this way, but I suppose they pull out this way because they're normally doing dust filtering for the power supply as well, but they don't need to on this. Now, looking at the back, it comes with, as I've said, my LX comes with the 120mm Pure Wings fan in the back, which is RGB. There are also 3 more in the front that you've already seen. When you want to, you can fit a 140 if you want though. When you want to remove your graphics card, you need to remove these 2 screws, remove the plate, and then that's how you get access to the clear access to the screws down the side. Now, there is also a bracket which mounts from the inside for you to be able to make this into vertical graphics. So you have that option, lovely little simple bracket, and I think all cases should come with that now. Now the other thing to point out around the back is there are 2 placements for your power supply. When the case comes out the box, originally this panel is actually fitted up here, and they want to make you fit your power supply in the bottom. But if you do BTF, Project Zero, or whatever Gigabyte are calling their version, then it will foul the lower USBs and stuff on the bottom of your motherboard when you have them plugged in. So you do need to swap it around. Now, when you do swap it around, as you can see, as the panel falls over on the floor, just here, this is your controller. When I was pressing the button before, this was what was doing the fans and RGB. So the RGB, when it's mimicking the motherboard, is connected all into this. There is also a fan header as well, so you can switch between them, not switch between them, but it will mimic whatever fan header you plug it into. So all of what's plugged into this will go mimic one fan header on the board. One of the things I did find a little bit annoying though is you've got a thumb screw here to be able to remove it, but to remove this panel here, which also does hard drive mounts, so there's a pair of hard drive mounts there for you, so you can put mechanicals or 2.5-inch SSDs on it. You have to remove the whole of the power supply cover at the back. Now, it's actually mounted on with 3 rivets here, so the whole thing comes out as one piece. I actually don't know why this couldn't have been screws or something. I also don't know why, if I'm honest, this part here couldn't have been mounted in the bottom or something out the way. It just bothers me that it's kind of in there like this, and you've always got your cables. Now, I know it's always covered up, and in its defense, it is nice to be able to tuck the cables down behind this. But I don't know, it does feel to me like the fact it's so very fixed like this, it doesn't really do things any favours. I understand that they're trying to go for a slightly lower cost option with this, but yeah, it just doesn't bode well with me. But that's a very small thing in the grand scheme of things. You can see that the power supply clears the 8 pins at the top, but as I've said, when you get down to the bottom with the USBs and the like, it will foul those, which is why you have to swap them around. So it's really good that you can swap them around, but again, it's just a bit of a shame because now you have to remove the power supply to be able to access the CPU backplate, although you're not really going to be swapping them very much, but it is something that you do need to kind of keep in mind. Round to the business side now. Now the glass is lovely. It's just nice, clear glass with a white border. There's no tint. It is uncomplicated. It is beautiful. I like it very much. There is space in the bottom for 320mm fans. Now the front fans, as I've stated, are Pure Wings. They are Pure Wings reverse fans. I actually wish BeQuiet had sent me 3 more of these fans, so I could have fitted them in the bottom, so that A, we can all see what they look like, B, because if I was going to build this case for myself and put it on my desk, I would want those fans in the bottom as well, so that it all matched. I'm also quite interested to see what the performance would have been like as well. I don't have a white BeQuiet AIO, but this is some kit that I've been moving between the cases for a little bit anyway, so I can't do a custom build for every review, because if the parts are different every single time, then how are we ever going to compare anything? You just end up getting results of, well, this kit performed like this. Maybe that's what we need to start doing. It's something that I have been thinking about. But anyway, we have a full BTF rig in here. So I've got BTF graphics card in here as well. We've got nice white kit. It does all fit rather lovely. The only thing that I would say is the AIOs do overhang the rear fan on the back a little bit. So it does show that it is quite tight. I keep saying tight, it is going to be double entendre central. We don't have any issues with motherboard clearances or anything like that. And if we were to be building with a normal connector layout where you would have had the 8 pins up here, there is ample clearance up here between the 8 pins and where the AIO would have been as well. To be fair, there's not really any worries about clearance with this at all, because you can see as we pan around that we're all pretty safe, and there's plenty of clearance between the large components and then where everything else is on the board, because our heatsink, we do have a safe kind of 4 to 5 millimeters between the top VRM heatsink and the AIO. AIOs are normally 27 or 30 millimeters, and you're not going to have any issues with any of those. The only thing I wasn't too keen on was the lack of grommets down the side of the board here, and because we're Project Zero, it does make it a little bit more visible. I did think that it might have been nice that we had a magnetic cover, like something plastic, just to kind of run over this down this side to tidy things up. But if you end up buying one of these and you don't like the look of that because you've got BTF stuff in there, Project Zero, whatever, this is something that you could easily make up at home out of plasticard. It's £1 or £2 to get a sheet of plasticard on eBay. Just get some white, some double-sided tape. You can clean that up very, very easily, so you won't have to worry. One of the other things that I did like, which I didn't get a chance to use, but the fact that I haven't got fans in the bottom does help, is there is a path through here to go to the back chamber for you to be able to pass your cables through, like your USBs and stuff. Now, what you are going to need to do in reality is make sure that you've done all of your USB connections and your fan connections on the bottom of the motherboard before you put the fans in, otherwise things might get a bit frustrating, but there are nice channels there for you to be able to do that. There's also quite a bit of wasted space around here, so there's plenty of places for you to be able to stash cables as well. I actually think you could probably do a really nice job of tidying up the cables around the back of the case even better. Okay then, so what do I think? Well, do you know what? I like the fact that they've gone and done something a little bit more compact, because the cases have been massive recently. So it is nice that it's going to fit on many more desks. The BeQuiet fans in this are so very good that it actually, for the first time, because I'm not being funny, when you test AIOs, you do just end up turning things up. But the noise difference between the Asus AIO and the BeQuiet fans was annoying. And by that I mean this is so much louder. Now, I don't have one of those special chambers so I can test noise differences like certain places can. And I certainly don't think you can do it with a handheld one. It's just not accurate enough. I'm asthmatic, I breathe heavy, there's always ambient noise going on, even in what appears to be a quiet room at midnight. But just understand when I say the BeQuiet fans, noise-wise, are outstanding, and they do move so much air compared to a lot of other brands as well. Like if you were to push me, I really like the BeQuiet fans. They do ones without RGB in white and black. I forget what the naming are, but you'll know the ones that I mean if you go and have a look at their website. Like they are my fans of choice. There are a lot of my test rigs here, including the CPU cooler test rig. I just put BeQuiet fans in them because I have to listen to the things so often that, you know, I've got test rig on and it's running for hours running tests, and I'd always try and get the BeQuiet fans in wherever possible for my own sanity. And these are no different. If anything, I do wish that these maybe span a little bit faster, just to really wang the airflow up when you needed it. Probably wouldn't need it if I'd had extra ones in the bottom, but these ones are just going to be force feeding air into your graphics card. So these ones down here will make a big difference to your graphics card temperatures. Do remember though that if you've got your graphics card on auto fans, then what your graphics card's probably going to do is the temperatures might not change very much, but the fan speeds might drop off. So you do need to have something manually set in there for you to be able to see a temperature difference. Otherwise it will be faffing around with it. The fact that we did get an AIO in the roof and it overhangs a little bit at the back might bother some. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. There's no real way for me to be able to slide that rear fan down, and that was something I really wish that we'd been able to do, because in the grand scheme of things I probably would have just slid it down that 5mm so that we didn't have that overhang, and that could have easily been done in the design on the back panel, because there is so much room there. There's no reason why we couldn't have done it. To be fair, it makes me look at it and want to break the Dremel out, but that's probably the one thing that I look at with this case and think that the design has missed. But for 155 quid with 4 RGB fans that perform really well, loads of nice glass and a funky layout, I do genuinely like it. Actually, there was one more thing that I wish that the designers did, and that was opened up that back section. They should have been a bit braver with that, because this part here, there's no reason for it to be there at all once you've opened up this section here. Otherwise we need another strip of this meshing in here so it's a little bit more balanced. But it is a very nice case. It is nice and compact. It's very well made. It's well designed but a little bit safe. So it's going to depend on what you want to be doing with it at home. It's perfect for an AIO rig with plenty of airflow. If you use the BeQuiet fans, it won't be particularly loud, and it's not going to take up masses of room on your rig like the 900 would have done. What is there not to like? Please let me know your thoughts about the video underneath. Don't forget you can go and check other videos on the channel, and you can also head over to the OC3D website if you'd like to go and see more of the stuff that we've been producing. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again soon.